So you guys want to trade meme coins, right? You guys want to be degenerates on the blockchain, right? You guys want to gamble. You guys want to know what I think about the meme coins. I got a few questions from people asking me my opinion on meme coins, whether or not they're coming back because they're kind of dead right now, how to play them, what meme coins that I like. And we're going to get into that today. Today, guys, in this video, we're going to go through the good, the bad, the ugly, and how I recommend you to treat meme coins and the strategy that I recommend for your portfolio. Okay, we're going to get into that all today. But before I begin, I need to let you guys know, excuse me, that nothing in this video is financial advice. I'm not your financial advisor. I'm not your financial counselor. What you decide to do with your money is up to you, and you need to take responsibility for your buys and your sells. Okay, with that being said, let's get into the video. So, got a question from a few people on my opinion on meme coins. All right, people want to know what my opinion on meme coins are and what I think about them and what my strategy is with meme coins and what I recommend for people to do. Okay, so we're going to get into that today. But before I begin, I need to make a statement that a lot of people think that the meme coins are dead. All right, and I'm going to make a statement and saying that meme coins are not dead, you guys. Okay, meme coins will continue. Meme coins will come back once the broader crypto market comes back, and there will still be money to be made in meme coins. Although a lot of people are going to lose a lot of their money in meme coins, there still is going to be gains in the memes. All right, memes are a very big part of crypto, right? And they're not going away. Okay, especially with the things I'm going to lay out here. Okay, so meme coins are coming back. You will see some people making a good amount of money with memes, and so I think it's worth it to go over it in this video for you guys so that you guys can understand how to play it properly and put it in its proper context. Okay, so the first thing that I think we should do is we should talk about how meme coins started, the history of them, and let's get into a little bit of what they are, right? What are meme coins? Okay, so meme coin started with Dogecoin. It was a long time ago. All right, it was created by a guy named Jackson Palmer. He ended up selling his Doge. He told everybody that it was a joke. However, meme coins ended up pumping anyway, or Doge ended up pumping anyway and doing insanely well, which gave it attention. Okay, and basically what Dogecoin is, you guys, is it's a fork of Litecoin, which is a fork of Bitcoin. So Bitcoin has extensions of it. A fork is essentially a copy paste code, and then they change some things, make it maybe faster, cheaper, whatever. All right, so Bitcoin got extended to Litecoin, and Litecoin got extended to Dogecoin. Okay, Dogecoin and Litecoin are merge mined, which means that the miners of Litecoin also receive Doge. Okay, so they're kind of connected, right? And Litecoin kind of serves as a test net of Bitcoin is the best way I could describe that. Okay, a lot of testing with technology goes on Litecoin, and Doge is just a joke. It's basically Bitcoin with higher inflation and a dog emblem on it. All right, and that's where it started. All right, then we heard of Shiba Inu. We heard of Pepe is the new one. I think Pepe is kind of taking Shiba Inu's place in terms of the number 2 meme coin. In my opinion, right? I think Pepe will be number 2. All right. So Doge and Pepe, I would say, are your blue chip meme coins. Okay, as crazy as that is to say. So maybe you could see, Dogecoin being the Bitcoin of memes, and then Pepe being the Ethereum or the Solana of the meme coins. Okay, that's a good way to think about it in your head for mental framing. However, you guys, everything else pretty much, maybe Dog with Hat and a few other meme coins. All right, they may have a little bit more of a community. They have a little bit more staying power. They'll probably come back when the rest of the crypto market goes up. All right, but that's a little bit of the history of how meme coins were created. Then with the Solana craze, basically they created there was essentially a protocol called pump.fun, where everybody in the crypto market, now anybody can create a meme coin for relatively, well, for very, very cheap, right? Whether or not it's successful or not is a different thing, but anybody can create a meme coin, which is why we've seen so many coins created and so many meme coins created on the Solana network. And this had a big reason. This was a big reason why Solana did so well in the first half of the bull market. Okay. And I'm going to break down why in this video as well. Okay. If you stay with me, right? So Solana went from $7 to almost 300. Okay. And a big reason why that was because of the meme coins. Okay. Now the meme coins are essentially, guys, are social / community tokens. Okay. So an example of this would be, we'll use the Hawk Tuah girl as an example, right? When that came out, there was a Hawk Tuah, like within, when that started going viral, there was a Hawk Tuah meme coin, right? That came out, and then it did really well, and then it went all the way down, right? So things that are happening on whether or not it be social media or let's say the Super Bowl or whatever the case may be, right? There's a meme coin that's created, and then the earlier people and the people that create it, typically it's essentially it's essentially musical chairs, right? So you have to make sure that you're getting in before everybody else does. You have to find a chair, all right? And then when you're in profit, you take out aggressively, and it's just a social thing, okay? So some people call the meme coins social community or social culture tokens or whatever they are, okay? But basically, guys, they can follow trends in society, or they could just be random memes that people think are funny, and then they'll buy them. All right. I'm not going to get into some of the meme coin names and stuff like that. That's not appropriate for this video. All right. but yeah, they can get pretty goofy. All right. Pretty goofy and pretty unprofessional. Okay. So my thesis on meme coins, you guys, all right, why have meme coins gotten so much attention, right? Why have meme coins gotten so much attention, and what really are they from a macro point of view in my head, okay? And I'm going to tell you guys, right? So as we know, the economies around the world are terrible, okay? People are losing purchasing power due to inflation and various other things, okay? The economy is not doing well. A lot of people are not doing well financially. Credit card debt is going up. Savings is getting diminished. Houses are unaffordable. Grocery prices have gone up a lot over the past few years. So there's a lot of people who are really struggling, okay? There's a lot of people who are really struggling around the world in the current global economy, okay? And basically, guys, one thing that you guys have to know about even people with no money, what they'll do is gambling doesn't stop, okay? So people who are getting squeezed financially, people who are getting squeezed economically, what they'll do, that does not necessarily mean that gambling stops, partying stops, degeneracy stops, okay? In fact, what it can do, it actually can do the opposite effect. And what it can do is it can actually say, well, what's the point of actually trying? I might as well just swing for the fences and try to hit the lottery, right? And that's what people are doing with meme coins, most people, unless you have a strategy, right? Like my guys do, if you are in meme coins, okay? But basically, guys, what meme coins are is it's essentially gambling on the blockchain, okay? Now, people who are in crypto and people who can navigate crypto, that's their version of gambling. It's like the version of somebody going to a gas station and getting a lottery ticket, okay? Or they're going to the casino and they're playing, blackjack or craps or something, right? Now, one thing that I need to add to this, you guys, is that even though people who go to casinos are gambling, there are professional gamblers, okay? There are people in poker, as an example, let's just use poker, that are professional poker players, and they know how to play the game, they know how to weigh their odds, they know how to risk manage with their hands, etc. So some people are a lot better at playing games than other people, right? It's just like anything else. It's like if you're really good at Muay Thai, or you're good at wrestling, or you're good at football, or whatever it is, you feel more comfortable playing that game because that's a game that you know that you can win, right? The meme coins are the same. Gambling is the same, okay? Poker, if you're a professional poker player and you're very, very good, right? If you're a really, really very, very good poker player, then what you want to do is you want to play poker, right? Because your chances of winning and your chances of making money are a lot higher, right? And it's the same thing with the meme coins, okay? You can make money with meme coins if you know how to play it correctly, and you understand the game that you're playing, okay? It's very important. But essentially, guys, what meme coins are is it's essentially people going to the casino on the blockchain, okay? That's what it is. All right. A lot of people are gambling on the blockchain, and it's because of the bad economy, and people are trying to swing for the fences because they see on social media, they see all these people posting 100Xs. They see people posting, oh, look at how much money I made here. Look at all this and stuff, right? And it got hyped, right? And the thing about that, you guys, and I think we need to talk about this in a more broad sense, is that all the things that you guys are seeing on Twitter and all the things that you guys are seeing on social media about meme coin gains, oh, look at this guy, he made 110x, or he made 150x, or they're tracking wallets saying like, look at what this guy did, this is how he made all this money, right? Now I'm going to tell you guys a little bit of a secret that they're not going to tell you, okay? That crypto Twitter's not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you it because I care, right? I care about telling you guys the truth, and this is what the truth is, all right? Nobody in crypto, the majority of people in crypto don't post their losses. They'll only post their wins, right? Most people don't post their losses. They only post their wins, right? If you see somebody that posts a 10x, oh, look, I got a 10x on a meme coin. What they don't tell you is that 7 other meme coins that they bought went to zero, right? 7 other meme coins went to zero, and they're only posting their wins because they don't want other people, because they care about what other people think. They care about what other people think. So what they'll do is they'll only post their wins so that people think they're like an unbelievably good trader, but they're just not posting the losses, right? Nobody that doesn't have competitive advantage in these meme coins are winning every single one. That's if they try to tell you that, it's fucking bullshit. All right, I'll tell you. I'll be the first person to tell you that. All right. You play the meme coin game, you have to understand the game that you're playing. And that's that you're gambling on the blockchain, unless you have house edge, or if you have competitive advantage, or you're a part of the team, or you're a part of the team's buddies, basically. All right. So that's the first thing. All right. And the other thing is that when they're tracking these wallets and they're looking at, oh, well, this is what this person did, this is what that person did. All right. A lot of the times they're not showing all the money that they lost. But even if they did, that person is an insider in the meme coin, you guys, right? That person's an insider in the meme coin trades. And so, of course, you're going to see that this is how he did it, but that's because he knows what's going to happen before it happens, right? Because he has a network that tells him when to get in and when to get out. And they essentially have a relationship where, let's say he's a big Solana money, or he's a big Solana whale, or he has a lot of Solana. The team and the influencers can use him to pump up the price of the token in exchange for insider information. Okay. That's the games that are played behind the scenes with these meme coins, you guys. All right. So that is basically the thing. I went on a little bit of a rant there, but it is important, you guys. You guys have to understand that these are the games that are played behind the scenes in these meme coins, okay? A lot of the people who make a lot of money in meme coins are the team, the people who make the token, the insiders, and the people who have the liquidity to pump it, and then their buddies, all right? Those are the people who are in on the meme coins. Those are the people who are making the 99% of the money in meme coins, and then the rest of people are losing money, okay? But before we get too negative on the meme coins, all right, let's talk about the good side of meme coins, because I want to be fair, right? I want to be reasonable. I don't want to be a Debbie Downer. I don't want to sit here and say that you should never buy meme coins based on every single person. Nobody should buy any meme coins ever, okay? First of all, that's not realistic, because a lot of people are going to do it anyway, All right. And number two is that if you're going to do it, I want to give you guys a decent a decent way to organize yourself and to put meme coins in the proper context, so that if you do participate and the worst thing does happen and you do lose money, or you make a lot of money, that you're equipped and you're educated on the situation and you could take responsibility. Okay. So let's talk about the good part, right? The first thing is that if you're paying attention to social trends and you're paying attention to things that are going viral on social media, or you're paying attention to current events in the broader world, all right, if you catch a meme coin, you catch a wave, you catch it early, you're active, you're paying attention to deck screener, you're paying attention to all the trending coins, all right, then you can make very fast money very quickly. Okay. Meaning, and what do I mean by that? You could turn a couple $100 into a couple thousand in an hour. Okay, that does happen. All right, it does happen from time to time if you understand how to do it. Okay, you can turn one Solana into 10. You can compound your soul and you can cultivate it correctly if you have the situation in your life to pay attention, as well as the market is in your direction and you have a little bit of luck. All right, that can happen for you. Fast money, fast gains in memes do happen. All right. Although most people don't get those gains because they're not equipped, or it just doesn't happen for them, it can happen, and it does happen, and you can turn a couple $100 into like $4 or $5 grand in a night. You really can. All right, as an example, right? So that's the first thing, is that you can make money very quickly, and it is a way to you can win. Okay, you can win. It's not quite like winning the lottery. All right, it's not quite like that. It's a little bit more doable than to win the lottery. It's definitely more doable to win the lottery, actually, especially if you're equipped and you understand the game, right? The second benefit of meme coins is that it takes less understanding of cryptocurrency, the less understanding of technology, and it just takes less knowledge in general for you to do well. You don't have to know how to chart. All right, you don't know. There's really no technical analysis. There's no fundamental analysis with meme coins, really. I mean, sometimes there are. All right, most of the time these coins launch with all their supply out anyway, and the team has a lot of them, or maybe there was a pre-sale, and then the people who got in on the pre-sale have all the money, right? But you don't need as much. You don't need as many skills. You just have to kind of understand what they are, and you have to risk manage properly, okay? Because they are the riskiest thing in crypto. All right, meme coins are the riskiest thing in crypto. So you have to understand that, and you have to put it into proper context, and everything that you buy with meme coins, you should be okay with them going to zero, okay? And the third benefit is that they're funny and they're fun. All right, meme coins are fun. All right, you can have fun with, if you're in profit, we'll get into that a little bit later, but if you're in profit on your positions, you can roll some of that into a meme coin and just have fun, or see if you can turn that into more, whatever. Okay, you know, if you enjoy trading, if you actually enjoy trading and you enjoy that type of stuff, then it can be fun, and the memes can be funny. All right, so there's some humor. We're talking about money, we're talking about finance, we're talking about all this serious stuff all the time. Lightening things up with some memes can be refreshing. Okay, so that's the third thing. That's the third benefit that I wanted to let you guys know. Okay, now let's talk about the bad side of meme coins. All right, let's talk about the bad side, because there needs to be some truths that need to be told about the meme coins and the narratives that happen with meme coins, and it needs to be put in check. Okay, so most meme coins, you guys, are outright scams. All right, most of them are scams. Most of them are other people on the other side of the screen creating the meme coin, and they're essentially just trying to get people into the coin so that they can steal your money. Okay, meme coins is a zero-sum game completely. All right, it is player versus player. If you go into a meme coin, if you enter a meme coin position, you are directly competing against a bunch of people who want to take your money. All right, they want to take your money, and they're ruthless with it. There's no regulations on these things yet, right? So they will take your money if they can. If they have a chance to get out, there's enough liquidity for them to get out on big positions without And in a lot of cases, they don't even care if it messes up the price chart because they don't care about the project. It's not a project, it's a meme coin, right? So you're gambling basically. And most people, most of it is the insiders and the team just trying to take your money. All right, that's the truth. All right, so that's number one. So I touched into this already, but the whales and the influencers are essentially, so if you guys think about this, a lot of whales and a lot of influencers want to buy good assets cheap, okay? Now, what are good assets? Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, whatever the case may be, right? Those coins, all right, they want that as cheap as possible and they want to accumulate as much as possible of it, okay? Now, if you think, a lot of these big players can't buy massive amounts of Ethereum and Solana on the margin, right? Because they're making big buys. So if they, let's say you make a $50 million purchase on the margin of a crypto exchange, you're going to shoot the price up just with your buy because it's that big, and the margin and the price is determined at the margin, you guys. It's not based on everybody holding their Bitcoin in their wallets. Now, if a bunch of people are holding Ethereum as an example in their wallet, and then there's a small supply being traded, and then the demand increases, that can shoot the price up, right? But all the Ethereum coins that are sitting in people's wallets, that doesn't have an effect on the price at all, okay? Doesn't have an effect on the price at all. So if you think about it, a lot of big players and a lot of people have to figure out very creative ways to get you to sell your Ethereum and Solana, to get you to sell your Ethereum and your Solana, and for something else, whether it be for dollars or meme coins or something else, so that they can buy more cheaper for longer as well. So they'll have more liquidity to buy bigger positions, all right, unless they're doing over the counter. They're getting you to sell your good assets into meme coins. So they're getting you to sell your good assets to go gamble. And then and then on the other side, they're taking the meme coin, or they're just buying the good assets on the margin, and they can buy it for cheaper and they can buy more, right? So that's the game that's being played too. Sharks and whales, big players, are trying to get you to sell your Ethereum, sell your Solana, sell your Bitcoin, sell your good assets, and put them into meme coins so that they can buy the good stuff, right? It's a transfer, right? The meme coins are, oh, like you can get an 1000x on a meme coin super quick. People who are impatient, people who, you know, they want quick results very fast. They're like, oh yeah, so they sell their soul, they sell their Solana, right? They sell Solana on Radium or Jupiter for the meme coin, and then that lowers the price of Sol because the Solana is getting sold, and then the big players can buy it. Okay, that's kind of the game. That's also a game that the big players are having to get you to sell your Solana and keep it somewhat cheap so that they can buy it for a longer period of time. Okay, so, you know, I touched on this. You know, everybody posts their wins, nobody posts their losses. All the people that you see on social media, they're talking about their wins with meme coins, but they're not posting their losses. And most of those guys who are consistently winning in meme coins are the insiders and the influencers that are behind the scenes, a part of the whole gimmick. All right, that's the truth. All right, so, you know, the other thing about meme coins is that they're not like, it's not like Bitcoin and Ethereum or good fundamental projects, right? They can just go to zero. All right, they could just go to zero and they have no chill, right? They could be going up and up and up, and then all of a sudden, doop, and it's done. It's at zero, right? So you just have to be very careful. They can go to zero very, very quickly. When Ethereum, Solana, Bitcoin, when these things crash, these meme coins these coins essentially just get absolutely destroyed. The price is gone, the Ponzi's over, and they essentially go to zero. Sometimes they'll come back, sometimes they won't. It just is what it is, right? That's the thing. A lot of these things are very aggressive, so you better be ready. If you're in a meme coin position, you guys got to be ready, and you guys got to be ready to take profits aggressively, all right? That's the thing with these meme coins, okay? They're not long-term holds unless they're Doge or Pepe, basically. All right, Doge and Pepe, I think they have enough of a community behind them and enough network effect where they're going to be here for a long time, most likely. All right, but everything else, it's fair game. You have to be quick on your feet, and you have to be able to sell and be ready to sell at appropriate times. When the general market is going down, it's time to get out of all meme coins, right? Because they can go to zero and they will. All right. So that's the other thing. All right. Most of the guys, like I said, I think I mentioned this earlier as well. Most of the guys, most of the winners in meme coins are the team and their buddies. It's probably like 0.2% of the 0.1, less than 0.1% of the participants in the meme coin actually make a ton of money, and the rest either lose all their money or they break even or they lose a little bit. And that's the way that meme coins actually work. Okay. Aggressively buying and selling, hype, emotions, paying attention to social trends, getting in first, or being a part of the team. Okay. And in most cases, you're not going to get in first. All right. You're not going to get in first in a lot of cases unless you have competitive advantage, somebody in the meme coin, or you kind of have edge in what's going on. Okay. If you know ahead of time that a whale is going to sell that position at this specific time, then it's going to be a lot easier to win, right? In traditional finance, this is called insider trading. It's illegal. In crypto, there's not really a way for people to get punished, so people just do it, right? So that's the thing. It's a very ruthless game, you guys. You guys have to be very, very careful. All right. With outsized returns, there's high risk, and this is the Wild West. This is crypto, right? Nobody's coming to save you. There's no government that's going to come in and try to stop the SEC doesn't do that anyway. I mean, most of the time when they solve scams, it's usually after the fact, after everybody already got scammed. They don't get their money until decades later. And even if that's if they get their money, right? They don't always get their money in every case. In most cases, and then on top of that, it's really just a way for the SEC to make money themselves, because they're going to fine the person. They're gonna try to settle on a lawsuit in a lot of cases for money. All right, so the whole thing is a gimmick, but I don't want to go on a rant about the SEC, but so yeah, guys. So that's the meme coins. All right, that's the good and the bad about the meme coins, right? So what should you do, right? What should you do with your positions in meme coins if you're going to participate? Okay. Now, a lot of crypto influencers will just tell you to avoid meme coins and to ignore them and just stay away from them. And generally speaking, for most of you guys, I would agree. I would agree with that statement. I think in general, you can stick to Dogecoin and Pepe and just leave it at that. All right. If you do want meme coins, you get those. All right. But if you are I do want to be fair, and I do want to be a little bit reasonable, and I am going to give you guys a little bit of a template so that if you are going to trade in meme coins, because I know a lot of you guys are, right? I know a lot of you guys are going to trade meme coins anyways, right? And if you are, this is what I would recommend. All right. So the first thing is you guys need to understand the game that you're playing. Okay. You guys have to understand that you're gambling on the blockchain. You have to understand that. And with that understanding, you guys have to put it in the proper context. All right. You guys have to put it in the proper context. So understand the game that you're playing. Understand that it's gambling on the blockchain, right? All right. So that's number one. You have to understand that mentally and realize that all the money that you're putting into a meme coin, you have to be willing to lose it, and you have to be willing for it to go to zero, and it doesn't affect your life at all. All right. So you guys need to risk manage properly. All right. And what do I mean by risk manage properly when it comes to the meme coins, right? What do I mean by that? Well, you guys should not be messing with meme coins unless it's already profits that you have. All right. If you guys want to do what I do, I personally don't put any money into meme coins into profits from my other meme coins. So as an example, if let's say I'm on a 5X on Doge, or if I'm on a 10X on Pepe, as an example, I'll roll a small portion of those profits into other meme coins that are a little bit higher risk if I'm going to participate, right? If I'm going to participate in higher risk meme coins, it's all profits that I already have from assets that I bought earlier. Right? So let's say I buy Bitcoin at 20,000, Bitcoin goes up to 100. It does a 5X on my capital. With a small percentage of that money, I can take that and I can put it into a meme coin if I want. And I have competitive advantage or something like that, or if I think that it's an opportunity for me to make money. All right. So that's the first thing, is you need to risk manage properly. Obviously, no more than 1%, no more than 2% of your portfolio in any trade. All right, especially if it's a high risk meme coin. All right. So that's the other thing. All right. So make sure that you're putting the amount of money that you're allocating into a meme coin into its proper context. Don't be like these degenerates who put a lot of their portfolio. Let's say they have a $10,000 portfolio and they're gambling $2,000 into a meme coin. That's not a good idea, you guys. You should be putting max $100, $200. A lot of these guys are just solely meme coin traders, and they're all wrecked now. Okay, the meme coins were popping during the Solana run up. The meme coins were popping. Everybody was trading meme coins, and then all of a sudden, Trump came out with a meme coin. Everybody put all their money in the Trump coin, and then it got dumped. All right, it got dumped. And I said that was going to happen. I didn't know how it was going to happen, but I said that not on YouTube, but on other platforms, that by the time that there's a big correction, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of their money in meme coins, right? And that's what happened, right? So that's the thing, is now if they risk manage properly, like I said, let's say they got a consultation with me, or they're listening to my content, and let's say their meme coin positions went to zero. Let's say that they put the money in the Trump coin and went to zero. They don't really care, because it's not the majority of their positions. But a lot of these people are overly allocating into really, really high risk stuff. Okay, so risk manage properly. That's number one. Number two is the process. Okay, so I'm going to give you guys the process. This is the super simple process for meme coins. All right, if you guys want to actually trade meme coins and be somewhat successful, this is how to do it. All right, you're going to go to dexscreener.com. You're going to go to Solana, right? So you're going to go to dexscreener.com, go to Solana, pick the meme coins that are traded, that have the highest volume in that 24-hour period. You find one that has a lot of volume, so it's getting traded a lot, and it's basically an hour or two old, right? So the idea is that if you get in on a meme coin pretty early, that's already being traded with high amounts of volume, that means that most likely they'll eventually get triggered by bots, and then the price should go up. Bots meaning buy orders, right? And you play that game, and you're watching it like a hawk. If it goes up double or triple, you take money out. If you know how to chart, that becomes a lot easier, right? And then, basically you just get in the beginning. All right, you get in the beginning on a coin that's one of the most traded coins at that time. You try to get in on one within the first couple of hours, ideally the first hour if you can. And if you think it's a good or funny meme, you think that people will get hyped about it, you get in, you wait, and then you can make a lot of money doing that. Okay, that's the process to how to do it. All right, the next thing that I need to tell you guys is that any money that you're putting in, you got to treat it as play money, right? I kind of mentioned this earlier as well, but all the money that you put into meme coins, you guys have to be willing to lose them. Okay, you guys have to be willing to lose the money that you put into meme coins. All right. The other thing that I'm going to say is that if you guys put yourself in a position where you have competitive advantage in a meme coin, then that obviously is the best solution, right? I mentioned earlier that if you're the team, or if you are a insider of some sorts, let's say you're really good friends with the person who made the meme coin, or the developer who created the code, or whatever it is, or the tokenomics. Let's say he's your friend and he gives you edge, or walks you through it, insider information, right? Then obviously that's a good way to be profitable with meme coins as well, if you're a part of the insiders that make all the money. Okay, so that's essentially breaking down meme coins pretty in depth. Okay, I tried to simplify things as much as I can, but essentially, you guys just make sure that you're risk managing properly. All right, if you are going to trade meme coins. All right, the next thing is that you guys just want to find a decent meme that may be trending on social media or something like this. You look for it on Dex Screener, you look for a high amount of volume, you try to get in early, you watch it like a hawk, and if it works for you and you make money, you pull out aggressively, you take profits aggressively, and you put it into the good assets like Solana, Ethereum, Bitcoin, whatever you prefer. In most cases, it'll be Solana because that's where the meme coins are traded. Okay. So I hope this was valuable to you guys. I hope that a lot of you guys, if you guys do decide to trade meme coins, I hope that this puts a little bit of a, like a little bit of a refresher and a little bit of a perspective on what meme coins are and how you should be positioning them in your portfolio if you are going to partake, and if you do enjoy trading them, or you think you want to partake, and maybe you get into the hype when meme coins do come back. I hope that you could refer back to this video and you can use this to improve your crypto journey. Okay, so I hope this helps you guys. Jump in the Telegram chat, link down in the description. If you guys want to get coached by me, you message me privately in there. All right. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, Chase Your Grace. All right. Subscribe, follow. Let me know what you guys want to see next. All right. Thank you guys. And I hope you guys have a blessed morning, evening, or night, wherever you may be. Bless up.